Welcome back to the pitch, everyone. It's 2026, and if you've been watching the matches lately, you've noticed something's changed. The rigid 4-4-2 or the disciplined 4-3-3 we grew up with, they're becoming relics. We're in the era of organized unpredictability. It sounds like a contradiction, right? But it's the secret sauce behind the most dominant teams this year. Managers are no longer asking players to stay in lanes. They're asking them to become chameleons. Today, we're breaking down why this tactical shift is wrecking traditional defenses and how athletes are evolving to survive the most physically demanding era of football yet. Let's dive into the chaos. Remember when a left back stayed on the left? Those days are gone. In 2026, the best teams use positionless football. You might see a center back leading the press in the final third while the holding mid drops into the defensive line. By the 60-minute mark, players have often switched zones over 40 times. This isn't just running around, it's a calculated rotation designed to create overloads. When a winger drifts inside and a fullback occupies the 10 space, it forces defenders to make split-second decisions. One hesitation and the game is over. It's about constant motion and the death of the static formation. How do you organize chaos? You use data. Managers now have real-time AI feedback on their tablets. We're seeing expected fluidity metrics becoming as common as XG. In 2026, coaching staff analyze heat maps that look like Jackson Pollock paintings. They aren't looking for structure, they're looking for chaos efficiency. If a team maintains a 75% efficiency in their rotations, they are almost impossible to man-mark. This technical insight allows coaches to tell their players exactly when to break rank, to exploit a 5-centimeter gap in the opposition's structure. It's a high-stakes game of chess played at 20 miles per hour. You can't play this way if you aren't a freak of nature. The organized unpredictability model has pushed physical limits to the edge. In 2026, the average distance covered by a midfielder has jumped to 13 kilometers per match. But it's not just the distance, it's the intensity. We're seeing a 30% increase in high-intensity sprints compared to 5 years ago. Recovery has become the most important part of the training cycle. If you aren't hitting these numbers, you're a liability. The modern footballer is essentially a decathlete with the ball-handling skills of a magician. The physical tox of this revolution is the highest we've ever seen. For years, the low block was the ultimate equalizer, parking the bus and frustrating the big teams. Not anymore. The 2026 tactical revolution was designed specifically to shatter deep defenses. By constantly rotating 3 or 4 players in the half spaces, teams are creating 8-second windows of total confusion. Traditional zonal marking fails because the markers don't know who to pick up. When 4 different players rotate through the same defensive zone in under 10 seconds, the defensive structure collapses. We're seeing scores rise because the bus simply doesn't have enough tires to stay parked against this much movement. Let's look at the numbers from the top of the table this season. The leading team has utilized a hybrid 2-3-5 system that morphs into a 1-4-5 during the attack. They've averaged 65% possession, but here's the kicker. Their players change their primary formation rules every 12 minutes on average. This adaptability has led to a record-breaking 2.8 goals per game across the league. It's not just luck. It's the result of thousands plus hours of tactical drilling on unpredictable patterns. When the opposition prepares for one system, you give them 5 different ones in the same half. That is dominance in 2026. Physicality is one thing, but the mental load is where the real battle is won. Players in 2026 have to process 50% more visual cues than they did a decade ago. It's about scanning frequency. The best players are scanning the field 4 to 6 times before receiving the ball. In an organized unpredictability system, you need to know where your teammate is going before they even know. This cognitive agility is what separates the stars from the bench. Teams are now hiring neuroscientists to sharpen player reaction times. If your brain can't keep up with the 2026 pace, your legs won't matter. So where do we go from here?
As we look toward the end of the 2026 season, organized unpredictability is only getting more complex. We're moving toward total fluidity, where the concept of a position might vanish entirely. Every player on the pitch will be expected to defend, create, and finish with equal proficiency. For the fans, it's the most exciting football we've ever seen. For the athletes, it's a grueling new standard. But one thing is for sure, the revolution is here, and it's not going back. Thanks for tuning in to The Monologue. Keep training, keep watching, and embrace the chaos. See you next time.